Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Keep It Real MMA. Coming at you guys with another video. Today we're just talking about the MMA news roundup, basically. It's only 4 main subjects to really talk about. Be on the lookout because soon I am making my Evolve, Evolve and Gaslam card, but it's Evolve versus Strickland now. And I said in my video, right, the reason I do the cards later is because people pull out the fights and it's awkward then when it's up there, but this fight isn't happening anymore. And guess what? I predicted it right because Gaslam pulled out and now Strickland's coming short notice. I knew it would happen. And that's why I said it would. That's why I said it. It's happened so many times where I decide to do my video later. Every other channel's already put out their shit. I wait until ages before I put mine out. And then as soon as I put mine out at the last second, I got all the fights sorted. Whereas they have got covered fights that are not even happening anymore. So they don't even have official predictions for the new fight, technically. Do you know what I'm saying? So, because, I'm sorry, right? For example, right, say if you had like Brian Ortega versus Topuria, right? And you picked Brian Ortega, and then Topuria pulled out, and Josh Emmett stepped in on short notice, right? If then Ortega beats Emmett, you can't claim that Ortega win. You can't claim like, oh yeah, I picked him because like, what if you would have picked Emmett if they were the original matchup? Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I think about it like. But yeah. Anyway, the first story I'm going to talk about is Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou has basically definitely been in talks with the PFL. For those of you who don't know, I don't follow him on Instagram, but I've seen MMA Junkie and stuff like that report on it, where basically there's a picture of like Francis Ngannou, a couple of his family members, and some of them were like wearing PFL t-shirts, and it was just him sitting there. I don't know if there was a caption or anything, but yeah, so obviously he's been in negotiations with PFL. Now, I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but to be honest, with Francis Ngannou, the UFC couldn't give a fuck if he leaves or not. Like, I don't think the UFC wants to get rid of him. I don't think they actually want to usher him out the door, but I just don't think they give a fuck if he decides to leave. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, because this is what you got to think about with Francis Ngannou, right? He's not a big pay-per-view draw. He's drawing in 250k pay-per-view buys versus Gane, a fight that Gane won and got robbed in. Gane clearly won that fight 3-2, and he got robbed. So Francis Ngannou fights once a year. The UFC doesn't like that shit, and he's 1-1 with Stipe. Now, people underestimate how important that one-on-one with Stipe is, because Stipe is considered the heavyweight GOAT, right? Now, Stipe's got a couple of title defenses, and he's fought really great guys, really fucking big killers, man, that he's beaten, right? I mean, he's beaten Overeem, he beat Verdum for the title, he's beaten Daniel Cormier twice. He even beat Francis Ngannou in their first fight. Like, Stipe's got a great fucking resume, man. And the only problem with Stipe as well, though, is that Stipe was very inactive also, but still is right now. But what you got to understand is, right, is that he's 1-1 with Stipe, meaning he can't be the heavyweight GOAT, and he doesn't have the greatest resume in the world either. I mean, like, he knocked out a Overeem past his prime. He knocked out Jairzinho Rosenstruik. Knocked out Curtis Blade. Curtis Blade is a great win. I got to give it to him. Obviously, the win over Stipe is great. But you got to take into account now, like, he doesn't have that much power over the UFC, but this is my point. Like, you can't just go, oh yeah, I've knocked out all of your contenders, you have to give me big money. Like, they don't have to pay you shit. You bring in no numbers. You bring in no numbers, you bring in no money. That's the point. You bring in no money. And it's like, and it's not that you bring in no money. You're 1-1 with Stipe, and you haven't got the greatest heavyweight resume of all time. So what power do you hold over the UFC? Like, fair enough if he beats Stipe again, beat Curtis Blades again, then we can talk a bit. But you fight once a year, and have beaten Stipe once, and should have lost to Gane. Gane beat you. So it's a tough game to play for him, because it's like, it's not as if you can just sit there and demand money that you can't bring in for the company. And that's a big problem. So if he goes to the PFL, that's when he becomes irrelevant, because I don't give a fuck what you say. These casuals ain't gonna go over and watch him fight in the PFL. I'm a hardcore fan, and I ain't gonna watch him in the PFL. The only person I watched going over to the PFL was Anthony Pettis. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna watch Ngannou go over to the PFL. I'm not doing it. So it's like, and the thing is, it's like, PFL will pay him a lot more. They'll pay him millions to each fight, the money that he wants. So I think if Ngannou's smart about it, he'll hold off on that offer, re-sign with the UFC, get a couple of title defenses, and then go straight to the PFL and make your money. Because the thing is, PFL are going to want to say, oh, we got the best heavyweight in the world. But the UFC can turn around and say, well, no, we got the best heavyweight in the world because Gane got robbed. And the problem is, if Ngannou does go to the PFL, who's he going to fight? PFL have a bunch of fat nobodies. The UFC have Blades, Aspinall, when he comes back off injury, Rosenstrike, Tuivasa, Gane. They have Pavlovich. They have all of these heavyweights, even Derek Lewis. Like, they have all of this heavyweight talent and contenders, and new ones coming up too. So, you know what I mean? It's one of those where it's like, I think it'd be smart for him to go to the PFL, because then he can make the millions that he wants. But he's never going to be considered a UFC legend, and he's never going to be considered a heavyweight GOAT. So it's up to him, really. Is it legacy or money that he wants? He clearly wants money. So if you want to go to the PFL, go to the PFL. That's my take on it. Now, the next piece of news is that the UFC, apparently according to Brett Okamoto, the UFC are very interested in Rafael Fiziev versus Justin Gaethje. Now, that's a great fight. That's the fight. That's the type of fight as fans want to see. That's a firework fight. And the thing is, right, if you guys have watched the channel for a while, you know that I really don't like Justin Gaethje in terms of his personality, because he's the type of guy, he gets dominated, then beats a just about contender, and then demands a title shot, gets a title shot, and then loses again. And he always will demand a title shot off of a one-fight win streak. And this is what does my head in about him. But I love his fight style. I love his fight style. I love the way he fights. I mean, obviously, of course I'm going to love the way Justin Gaethje fights. And against Rafael Fiziev, he's going to fully be able to use his style. I am going to pick Fiziev. Obviously, I don't go too much into detail unless a fight is booked and is big enough of a fight for me to talk about it. Or if I can talk about it on a card, then I'll really break it down. But I am picking Fiziev by TKO. But yeah, it's a great fight though. And the thing is like, I swear to God, if Justin Gaethje wins and demands a title shot, bro, like Fiziev is number 6 and Gaethje's number 3, so it's a good number matchup, and it's just a great matchup in general. It's the type of fight you want to see. But yeah, I've always been frustrated with Gaethje because he barely fights, and then when he fights, if he wins that off of a one-fight win streak, he then tries to demand a title shot. And like I said, if you guys have been watching for a while, you know how I feel about people getting title shots off of one-fight win streaks. So yeah, it's a good fight though. It's the type of fight you want to see, and it's the type of fight that gets the fans excited. It's the type of shit that you want to see. But yeah, I will be picking Fiziev, and it's great for Fiziev because if Fiziev wins that fight, obviously he slots into number 3. Now Fiziev has a couple of options. If Oliveira and Dariush doesn't happen, maybe he can take on Dariush. If Oliveira wants to take a lot of time off, or he can take on Oliveira if Oliveira wants to take him on instead of Dariush. That's a good matchup to make also. So it gets the lightweight division moving a bit. So what I want you to do, Dana and co, is go over to where Justin Gaethje's residence. I want you to slide him the contract, and I want you to put the pen in his hand, and all of you grab his arm and put down his signature, because he needs to fight somebody. You can't just keep recycling the same fights. He can't fight Charles Oliveira as of right now. He can't fight Dustin Poirier right now. So who is he going to fight? He can't fight Michael Chandler right now. So I'm fed up with, like I said in my last video, right? Go run at my last video, guys. Because in my last video, I was talking about the lightweight division. Because obviously I was talking about Charles Oliveira versus a Beneil Dariush potential matchup. And I was talking about the frustration with the lightweight division where the fights are just recycled all the time. And then Beneil gets left out. And it's just, obviously, it's not Oliveira's fault because he was the champion. So they were coming at him, Gaethje and Poirier. Obviously, he beat Chandler for the belt. So it's like, you can't just, like, blame a particular person, but the fights are just, they're obvious fights are going to get made. But yeah, if Gaethje wins, give him the Oliveira rematch, maybe. Or maybe give him Beneil Dariush if that doesn't happen, Definitely not a title shot. But anyway, next piece of news is actually a sad one. The one championship's female fighters, Victoria Lee, 18 years of age, has passed away. As of right now, nothing has been said on what caused the death. How did she die or whatever. It's extremely sad. 18 years of age, man, and she was I believe she was 3-0 in the promotion, and her sister is actually one of the champions in the I think is maybe the atomweight champion, or the strawweight, one of the two. I think is atomweight. So yeah, it's really tragic. I've seen the comments. It's tough to talk about, but I don't want to get too much into it because I'm an MMA channel, not a political channel or a global issue channel. But I understand where people are coming from, because let's face it, for the past 2 years, it's like, oh, you want to eat here, or you want to go here, you want to do your papers, please. What's your status? Have you had the, you know what I mean? And they turn very tyrannical, and but if somebody suddenly collapses and dies, which has been happening a lot over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, we are demonized for it. Because we're just asking, because you asked us 2 years ago, you were trying to force it on us, so we're just trying to ask. Were they or not? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't get too much into it. I get what people are coming from. I really do. I understand what people mean. But in my personal opinion, it is weird. An 18-year-old athlete who had a fucking career planned out. She was very adamant on her plan. 3-0 in the promotion. Very, very talented girl. And very healthy 18. You know what I'm saying? At the top of her game. At the top of her performance, of a promotion, really. The top Asian promotion, ONE FC. And Singapore, which is where she would have been competing in January, because she was supposed to fight this month. They did issue a mandatory so she definitely was that. But I don't know what caused the death, and I ain't gonna say definitely what it was. I hope that her family is well, and I hope that they can move on in life eventually, and I hope that they deal with it healthily and properly. And my condolences are with them, and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I hope that he looks over them and blesses them for the years to come. So yeah, it's very tragic, and all I can ask of people is just everybody chill out and just say your prayers for them. There's no need to speculate, really. At the end of the day, right, we'll see in due time what caused it. But I do understand both sides. That's what I'm going to say. I do understand both sides. So yeah, but just let the family grieve in peace, and rest in peace, Victoria Lee. And yeah, but anyway, Next piece of news. The last piece of news I'm going to be talking about is Khabib suddenly deciding to retire from coaching to be more with his family. And to be honest with you, I ain't mad at it. As much as I hate Dagestani fighters, I ain't mad at it. I mean, a family man's a family man at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? As a family man myself, I cannot blame him one single bit. So, you know what I'm saying? The timing's a bit weird because I know that Makhachev is fighting Volkanovski in February. So it's a bit weird. But at the same time, like, Makhachev is the champion. He beat the best lightweight on the planet, so now he's the best lightweight on the planet. Not much you can do for him, really. So I completely understand it. I mean, I know people getting angry at it, and I know Khabib likes to quit a lot for some reason. You know, but yet again, though, he said it was his mother. I believe him. He said it was his mother's promise. He promised his mother. So at the end of the day, man, I can't be mad at the man that wants to spend time with his family. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. If you're new, please like and subscribe. As you can tell, I'm Keep It Real MMA. I just say what comes to my mind and give my honest thoughts about it. Like I said, if you're new, please like and subscribe. And if you're watching the entire video, thank you so much. This is Keep It Real MMA. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.